congratulating us to the title. It's been a fantastic evening and a great ending of the season for us, of course. I'm going to talk about schools against racism. So what started as a branch of Malmö FF's tournament, Football Against Racism, has grown into a really large meeting place for the public schools in Malmö. The activities, they begin in the classroom and they end with the last manifestation against racism here at Eleda Stadium. So this year we celebrate the 10th anniversary and 10,000 individuals has participated in the concept since the start 10 years ago. So this is one of a kind initiative in Sweden, and it is a collaboration between the municipality, the club Malmö FF, and the organization Tillsammans I, förening. So Malmö FF is still the only professional football club in Sweden working on this topic. I hope you will take some extra minutes and watch the movie, which you will find linked into the virtual agenda, because a movie, it says more than 1,000 words, but we've seen here previously today that it's not really working when you're presenting live. So I hope that you will take some time and have a go at it. So the concept, it's based on the 4 principles of the Convention of the Rights of the Child. And it's been a central aspect ever since the beginning here of Grundskolefotboll mot rasism. So the work that focuses on the 4 principles. Article 2, the child's right to not to be discriminated. Article 4, in all actions concerning children, we take the best interest of the child shall be the primary consideration. Article 6, every child has the right to life, and also that we should ensure to the maximum extent possible, the survival and the development of the child, and children are allowed to form their own opinion and express them freely in all matters. These 4 principles are the absolute foundation of the concept. And since the 1st of January 2020 this year, the Children's Rights Convention is actually now a law in Sweden. It seems quite strange that it has to go to the year 2020 for it to become a law, but it's an important milestone in Sweden. So for us, working with this concept now for 10 years, it gives us like it's like a receipt that we're doing something in the right direction. Everything in Grundskolefotboll mot rasism is connected to at least one of the principles. And every time we consider bringing in a new segment into the process, we test it against the 4 principles to guarantee that it it can be combined. We also decided to highlight the connection to football and added in Article 31 the right to play. The main objectives of the initiative is to, once again, to focusing on the Convention of the Rights of the Child. And we also believe that when a child is aware of his or her own rights, the step to violating another child's rights is actually larger. So therefore, we, together with the organizations and the schools all over the city, we formed an alliance to guarantee that children involved in this process are informed and aware of their rights. So we try also to combating racism through teaching and dialogue, and also join alliances, because we have recently also changed the name from School Football Against Racism to School Football Against Racism, because we want to point out and also underline that there are different kinds of forms of racism, and the fact that you can be the victim of many different types of racism at the same time. So many of the staff members working for the initiative have their own experience of racism on a personal level. And it's mainly Afrophobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and also cultural racism. We also work with the UNESCO guideline for education, and we believe that education, along with dialogue, open communication, and the exchange of knowledge and experience, is essential in the battle against racism. So therefore, the visits to the school are not only focusing on teaching, but also having an open and a safe space where children can feel like comfortable expressing their thoughts and ideas. So this is the way of them to demonstrating their rights according to the 4 principles. And this year, we will actually conduct over 120 workshops throughout the year. So what we're doing is we're actually bridging the gap. And we would like to say that, in a sense, we are actually uniting the city, somewhat also the country, and we hope maybe in a couple of years, the world. You have to aim high. Malmö is a city full of opportunities, but also we have a lot of challenges. And it's a divided city where segregation is a huge problem. So what we're doing is we try to bridging the gap to use the stadium and also get children from all over the city to meet here in the stadium. So 3 important segments of the process is the big tournament, where children from all over the city, they meet here close to the stadium and they play against each other. We have a conference where we educate children and the teachers. And then for the children, the most important thing, the manifestation in the stadium. On these days, the children, I mean, they, like I say, they gather here and they get to talk and exchange knowledge, experience, thoughts, and ideas. And we hear stories all the time about children that left their part of the city for the first time thanks to this initiative. And I think that's fantastic that football can unite a whole city. So we think also that when children can come here, it's actually a way of like we say, we're bridging the gap and battling segregation through education, dialogue, and football. I mean, 10 years on, you have to sometimes remind yourself how it once started. In 2010, the stadium was new. Our municipality joined the network called European Cities Against Racism. And they also asked us if we wanted to do a manifestation together since we had a game against FC Barcelona here. So when we launched the first year, we had 600 participants. 5 years on, we engaged 4,000 people in the concept. And now, 10 years on, it's actually over 10,000. And I mean, it hasn't always been easy. When we started out, principals and teachers and the politicians here in the city told us there is no racism in the public schools. So 10 years on, we gladly say that it's acknowledged that there is racism. And this is, of course, sad, but it is true. I mean, something that we always knew. And now we are working together to bridging the gap. This is the map of Malmö. So football against racism is actually present in 50% of the public schools in Malmö, and it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And for me, it's just fantastic to know that this year, 1,600 children from these 30 schools are participating in the concept, and we're doing 120 workshops against racism and for human rights. So the ultimate goal is to create a children's rights movement here in the city, where the entire city plays a part. And we need everyone. And we try to highlight that we need the teachers, we need the children, we need the parents, we need the siblings, the politicians, and other sports clubs to join us. And this year, the theme is, we're going to change the world. Vi ska förändra världen. And this phrase is now the founding stone of every workshop, meeting, dialogue, and discussion that we have. And also what the children actually are working on themselves during the workshops. And we believe that children can change the world. And together that we are a children's rights movement that will change the world. This October, we actually managed to do a conference with teachers and children. And one of the children stated to me, and that's something that I really think about a lot. She said, the project is not only necessary for schools, but also for society as a whole. And someone needs to lead the way. So for me, this child captured the essence of the process. And I mean, we use different kinds of phrases like football is more than football, but I have to also say that school is more than school. So together, we will change the world. Thank you so much, and please have a look at our video. And of course, feel free to reach out to me if you want to ask any questions. So that would be it for me.